Think I'm gonna give some love to the Chevy guys. You know, I know big names like Scotty Kilmer. Who's the other dude? Named the Car Wizard or something like that. Ended up talking about one of his favorite line of Chevy trucks. Even though the like 89 to like 98 is still arguably one of the best Chevy trucks, if not the most reliable on the road. There was a split in there where it went from like a throttle body injection to a that spider assembly. I forget what they call it. Chevy called it the spider assembly that went down into the intake manifold, and then the fuel would leak in the intake manifold. It wasn't too bad of a deal. But this truck here has got almost 200,000 miles on this truck. And this truck runs like it is freaking brand new. It's like a 07. This to me was arguably one of the best Chevy trucks ever. Why? Because they made it past all that throttle body injection, and they made it past the spider assembly injection, and then it's just a straight up fuel injected LS motor Chevy truck with an amazing simple setup. There was nothing complicated about this truck at all. It had the coil on plug type setup. It was a simple motor, a ton of room inside here to work. There was almost nothing that ever went wrong with these trucks. And if you kept them up, you never had issues with them. They didn't have the throttle body injection issues like some of the earlier models did. They didn't have the injectors leaking inside the intake manifold like some of the earlier models did. This was just a simple, phenomenal setup. This truck will run 400,000 or 500,000 miles no problem, as long as the services are kept up, maintenance is done. It's such a simple vehicle, and it makes a ton of power for how small it is. There's like this thing, you fire it up, you get in it and go, and this sucker moves. When it kicks down and it kicks into that lower gear and passes, it just simply moves. For it to be, you know, a half-ton truck, there's a lot of times where I swear when you work one of these trucks, it almost acts like it's a 3/4 ton, 1-ton truck. Like, you can beat this truck and it will roll. It doesn't matter. If we keep up on the services and stuff, we keep up on the, you know, oil changes, plugs and stuff. I'm gonna do coil on plug setup here soon. Oil, she spills oil every once in a while because it will burn a little bit of oil between every 4,000 and 5,000 miles. She'll lose like a half a quart to a quart of oil. I mean, it does have 200,000 miles on it, but this motor actually, it's got no wear to it at all. It shifts phenomenal. There's everything just so basic and simple about these LS trucks. This is the Sierra edition, and it's the 5.3 liter LS1. Brakes are easy to do on it. Oil changes are easy to do on it. Trans services are easy to do on it. It's just a simple truck. There's nothing complicated about it. You know, she does have some surface rust on it because before I came along, there was nobody really other than her taking care of it. The radio layout in the center of the console and stuff was so simple. I think up until like 15, they kept the same style design, and then right at like either 14 or 15, it changed and went to a different design. It had more of like a work truck style door liner and stuff on it, man. It was like, you spill crap on this thing, you scratch it up, and it didn't matter. It's just a great truck. She had the airbag recall thing done recently, the Takata airbag issue, and I love this truck. If I'm actually looking for another one similar to this truck. So later today, if you guys are interested, I'm going to go through and actually service this air filter. Well, while I'm here, I decided that while I got you guys on camera, I kind of go through some of my basic checks. There's no cracks in this belt at all. It's not all galled up, and still got a lot of the sheen, not super shiny texture, but idler pulling, everything's new. The belt is still newer. There's nothing going on there. Check power steering fluid. Power steering fluid is still full. It's right here at the mark. Does have a little bit of a power steering line. This is a power steering line. Is that trans? No, it's power steering. There's a power steering line right there. It's got a little bit of a light seepage down there, but nothing too crazy. It never drips, it never leaks. It's the extent of what it looks is that little bit of wetness, and that's it. I don't think she's ever done a water pump on this thing or anything. I mean, she bought this thing, I think, when it was like, it only had like 4,000 miles on it or something like that. And she's run it ever since, just after being brand new. You know, the people that drove it before she bought it never really drove it anywhere. And then they traded it into CarMax, and she went and found this truck like dirt cheap at CarMax. I think she found this truck in 2009 or like 2010, and it only had, it was either 4,000 or 14,000 miles on it, and she only gave like 15,000 for this truck. And she said it's been the best vehicle she's ever had. Well, she hasn't had a lot of vehicles, but in the family overall, they love these trucks because the trucks these just run. Even her father has a 15 model, and he's got over 200,000 miles on it. He drives back and forth constantly to upper Wisconsin, back to Illinois, back to upper Wisconsin, Canada, back to Wisconsin. I mean, this is all year round because he's retired. That's all he does now. It's just go on long fishing trips, and he absolutely loves it. No problems with the truck at all. Just keeps running. So I got to give some love to the Chevy guys on this one, because I think this model truck, for it being as basic as it is actually one of the best trucks ever made. Just for the simple fact that it's just so easy to do everything on this truck. Even when there was problems, like major problems, guys had to do like a cam swap or something like that. I've seen guys start early in the morning, have this whole motor apart by evening, ready to drop lifters and cams in it the next day, and then by the middle of the next day have this motor completely put back together and basically refreshened. And it's like, what the hell? Like, GM guys, Chevy guys, they know how easy it is to go through these motors. It's nothing, and they make a ton of power for what they are. But anyway, I just wanted to introduce this truck to the channel because this is one of the ones that we're going to be doing some fluid testing and chemical testing too here soon. And got to give the Chevy guys some love, because this is actually my favorite, most reliable truck, efficiency wise. My favorite overall truck out of all manufacturers, makes, models and stuff like that is the old, like, late 60s, early model Chevy trucks. I like the old C10 the best out of all of them. But got to give Chevy guys some love. Y'all be blessed. Let me know what services you want to see on this truck.